Okay, good afternoon or good early evening, depending on when you are watching this. This is Tom Alexander. This is a special report on the U.S. stock indices. I did a special report yesterday. Today was a pretty extraordinary day. Today turned out, or outlined a couple of scenarios in last night's report, and today pretty much nailed one of them. Now, I would encourage you to go over here to the website right here, click on Weekend Update. And under the Weekend Update, this is free. You click on it, you can see the report from last night. So I would encourage you to go listen to this, and you can see the analysis that led up to today. Now you can also go back and you can review other reports going back a couple of years. I do this. This is free for those of you that may be finding me for the first time. By the way, I would very much appreciate it if you would subscribe and like the channel. It helps grow the algorithm, helps grow the channel, et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk about the markets because it's quite fascinating at the moment. Now, I'm sort of going to be all over the place here. I'm sort of doing my post-market analysis that I would be doing even if I were not doing this report. I would be doing this for my own trading. So I'm doing it. I'm doing it with you tonight. So let's look at this view. Okay. First, it's not the one I wanted. Let's see. Here we go. All right, here are the four indices, four primary U.S. trading indices. You can see we're in sync today. Everything just absolutely got destroyed to the downside, extremely wide range days. Uh, I mentioned last night that the bearish case was that the NDX had traded to a new all-time high and nothing had followed, and in particular, the weakness in the Russell and the Dow and the New York Composite, by the way. Now we had this balance area that formed. Also talked about that last night and said that there could be a very, very sharp break, and that is indeed what happened. Now, if you notice on here, we have taken out the November 19th low in the Russell and the Dow in rather dramatic fashion. We're way above it in the NDX up here, as you can see. We're just above it in the SPX. Now, the next level to the downside in the SPX are these lows in this area in here around 56.89, give or take 10 or 15 handles in here. Now let's take a look at the internal situation, which is really interesting now. And I talked about breadth last night. And again, I would please go listen to the video I did last night on breadth. The red is a 10-day moving average of NYSE advancing issues. The green is a 5-day moving average of NYSE advancing issues. The blue histogram is breadth. It's closing breadth. We closed tonight negative 2305. These closes below 2000 in bull trends typically occur very near or coincident with short-term lows. Even in bear markets, they typically occur time-wise near short-term lows. Now, could we have another further washout tomorrow? Absolutely. Could we have a little bit of a bounce tomorrow and then a washout on Friday? Absolutely. But I think that we're going to see at least a short-term low by Friday, regardless of whether or not we are in a bull or a bear market. And the reason for that is this chart. The 10-day moving, and again, this is a blunt instrument, it cannot be rotated, but this is information, this internal data is much more helpful in declines, whether the decline occurs in a bull trend or a bear trend, but in particular in bull trends, this is really reliable stuff, and you want to be paying attention. So this is about where we close tonight, right about on it. Yeah. Okay. So if we go back, the last time we closed at this level was here. Now this was it. This was the very end of the quote unquote bear market that began in 2022, the beginning of 2022. But you can see anytime we got pretty extreme, not even as extreme as we are now, you were subject to these face ripping bungee jump types of rallies. That's typical. I can go back even further, and you have to go all the way back to 2020 to get to the level that we're at now. And you can see, from this level here in the NYS 10-day moving average NYSE advancing issues, we went a whole lot lower. But you can also see that along the way you had these face ripping rallies. Now, I'm not going to get into the weeds and the minutia of all the little swings in here. I've done that in the past. I'm not going to do it now. I'm going to give you the overview. The bottom line here is that we should be very close to a short-term low time-wise, at least the short-term low time-wise. Now, could we trade lower price-wise for a day or two? Yes. But I would be looking for some sort of a short-term low and an attempt at a very violent rally. Now, if we are in a bull trend, what we're doing, we're putting in the latest and greatest pivot low prior to new highs in one or more of the US primary indices. Are we in a bull market now or a bear market now? I don't know, and we will not know. We cannot know until after we see this rally and then a subsequent retracement after that rally. But for now, from a trading perspective, the information is that time-wise, we should be very close to at least a short-term low. It's really interesting if you look at the level here. I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff, some of the noise on this chart. And we'll just start over so you can see what the perspective of this. Okay, so we've had this balance area in here. We had the big decline. Now, if you know, in case you're not going to go back and look at last night's report, I highlighted the fact that we could be, this area in here was very similar setting up to this area in here, and we got that very sharp drop into this low subsequently. So that sort of playing out. Now we're at a level here, you can see below this level, you're looking at closing this gap. And then as far as lows are concerned, these are absolutely critical intermediate to long-term lows. I think we'll have an attempt at a very, very strong rally prior to this level being tested. That's my best guess as I'm recording this on Wednesday evening. Now, something else occurred today that fits with the scenario of a potential short-term low forming. VIX just went insane today. VIX is the highest level that we've seen since last August, and it went higher, spiked higher one time, higher than it closed today. Now, could this continue higher? Absolutely. We've seen VIX much higher than we even saw it last August. But on a relative basis, this is a very, 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 very sharp spike in VIX. You see this type of thing at lows. So that's another reason to be looking for at least a short-term low in here very, very soon. Again, I do these updates periodically. It's unusual for me to do them back to back like this, but the situation merited it. The next video that I do, for those of you that get these things, will be, I'll have one out Sunday evening that will update from today into Sunday evening. If you're not on my email list, you can get notified when I do these things by getting on that list. Just shoot me an email, tom@alexandertrading.com. Say, please put me on your email list. I don't sell emails. I don't spam you with a lot of crap. And you'll be notified when I post these things. You guys have a great evening, and at the Obviously I do a member service every day, but those of you who are not subscribed to that, I will talk to you again early Sunday evening. Have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your week.